Good evening, everyone. I'm Melanie, and today I'm sharing my story with God and how the light came when I was at the darkest point of my life. This happened a little more than 4 years ago, at a time where I lived in Cologne and I had my first job. And it was exciting after my studies, what the world has to offer. And I studied before business management. And I lived in a noisy and busy city, where I really didn't find rest. I moved from one flat to another, and every 2 months I got to know new people. My friends and my family, they were far away. And I had just quit a relationship after 6 years. And I was in a relationship with someone I really loved at that time, and I was really heartbroken. And I don't know if some of you can imagine that you're getting in time of mourning, that you feel the same as someone died. And kind of, I died too, because a part of me died. And I really didn't know who I was anymore. I grew up as a Christian, and I had known God before. And I already learned that I could trust God. But on the other hand side, I didn't want to live a boring Christian life. I wanted to go out for party. I just wanted to have fun. I just wanted to make the most of it, most of my life, and enjoy myself. And I wanted to do everything else, just not to take the thing with God too seriously. But in times of crisis, I realized that this two-faced lifestyle couldn't carry me through. And after this breakup in 2011, I felt shaken, burned out, alone, and empty. And I hated my job, and I was totally depressed. I never slept more than 3 hours a night for a month. And I had the feeling that I had lost myself. I was looking for a change and for new things to shake off all the memories of my past. And I no longer knew what was right or wrong, and I really didn't care anymore about it. So I went to all kinds of different parties just to get more enjoyment. And I often got drunk, and I started to take marijuana just to get some more sleep. I smoked joints with my flatmates every evening, and I was just looking for purpose and peace. This was my real search. But the more I was searching and trying to fill myself with other things, the emptier I felt. I didn't care about anything anymore. I lost all my goals. I didn't care about my friends, my family, my dreams, my goals, or even God. I stopped praying because I knew that God didn't like the things I did. But He never gave up on me. I lived in a flat with 3 guys, and on a Sunday, my flatmates and myself got together for an experiment. They baked a drug cake, and we ate it together to see what would happen. At first, nothing happened, and I thought, maybe it would be fun, so I joined this. And suddenly, everything became green, and I just looked around and kind of lost the orientation. And a little bit later, I realized that I lost control over my whole body. And I didn't know what I did. I realized that I was standing in the kitchen and opened up the fridge, but I wasn't the one who did it. I didn't want to do it and I had no power to control myself anymore. And then I panicked. I screamed, and I really screamed inside, but nothing came out of my mouth. I tried to get back the control over myself, but my body didn't do what I told him to. So I was shaking with my whole body, and at that moment I knew the devil himself had control over me. And I literally was scared to death, and I thought I'm going to die. And after some hours, I managed to lay down on the bed finally and just tried to calm down a bit. And I screamed to God, "Please get me out of here." I felt like hell, and I thought I wouldn't survive it. And the others, they were also screaming and laughing and out of control, so we couldn't help each other. And in the midst of this chaos, I heard a voice. And the voice said, "I am there." And I knew that it was God. And I knew God saw me. And at that moment, suddenly I saw myself lying there on the bed, broken, empty, full of drugs, without any purpose. And God said to me, "Where did you go? Look at yourself." And was so ashamed. I realized that I was at a point of my life where I was trying to throw away everything God had given me. And I screamed to God. I only wanted to be with Him. And I knew that only He could rescue me out of this darkness. And at that moment I said to God, "I will change my life and follow you if you help me out of this mess." And the trip didn't stop, but from that second I had hope. I knew that there is a God, and a God who is protecting me. And after several hours of fighting, screaming, and crying, I fell asleep. This trip took me about 8 hours, and it was the darkest time of my life. And I woke up the next morning and realized that God had rescued me. And from that day on, I wanted to change everything. I just wanted to get more of Him, more of this light, and more of this warm embrace He gave me. Because I know that He was the only one who could save me. Also, He's the only one who could rescue me from myself. And so I packed my stuff and moved out. I quit my job. I moved back to the city where I had lived before. I went back to my friends. And all I wanted was to see God more. And I saw that I could trust Him with my whole life. And I quit playing games with Him and followed Him with all my heart. And still I had difficult times. It was a journey. And still I had to go through a lot of pain. But God healed me completely, from inside out. He took away the pain and the sin of the past, and He gave me a new life. He showed me that there is so much more, and that He has a plan for me. And I would never have thought that I could ever give my broken heart to someone again. But God showed me that one day I will wear a white dress and having white flowers in my hair. And He will show me a man who will truly love me like no one did before. And he did. 3 months ago, I stood here in a white dress, and I finally married the man of my life, the man of my dreams, and I still can't believe his grace. Jesus is the light. And I have seen this light. I have felt it and heard it. I have found it to be the most beautiful and precious thing I've ever knew. And ever since, I'm looking for it more and more, and never going to go back. I hope this one covered you.